here's Michael Knowles still on his now let's return our society to the dark ages. I mean, this is so laughable. It's ridiculous. I don't know whose military he thinks is stronger than the United States, but in how wars are fought anymore, at least in terms of what our country will be engaged in. But here is Michael Knowles talking about now, and how many years has it been since women have been allowed to be in the military? I mean, frankly, I think nobody should be allowed to be in the military, but be that as it may, has it been decades now?
Decades. Gotta be.
Was it like under Clinton?
Yeah, let's see.
I'd imagine.
I can't remember.
But
2013.
2013?
Really?
Just 2013?
It says then Defense Secretary Leon Panetta announced that the ban on women in combat would be lifted entirely.
Oh, that's in combat. That's in combat.
Yes, sorry. Yes,
I'm asking about the in the military but combat. Okay, so it's been 10 years.
In 1948, though, women in the military.
Okay,
so 75 years.
I think there was some interim spot, but here is Michael Knowles on women troops.
If our Army believes that gender doesn't matter, I guess we ought to just pack it in, right? We better build some really big walls around our country because we're never going to win another war again, because it means that our fighting force on whom we depend to protect us doesn't know the most basic aspects of human nature. Of course, the vast majority of people in the Army and the National Guard and throughout the military, they know that this is complete nonsense. But the leadership, the people making the dazzling recruitment videos, the people calling the shots, even if they don't believe this, they're saying this. Gender doesn't matter. And it's considered a positive. It doesn't matter. Back when I was looking to join, women, do you believe this? Women weren't even allowed in combat. Can you believe back when I was going to join the military, we were such a backwards nation that we didn't even send our daughters to get blown up by jihadis. But now we're much more progressive. We're a much more virtuous and progressive nation, and we're going to send our little girls out there to get hacked up and tortured and exploded by evil men all around the world. Aren't we so much better now? Women in combat, that's considered to be the height of progressivism in this commercial. Women in combat is a national scandal. It is a disgrace. It is a deep, deep shame and stain on our country. And I don't even hear the conservative politicians talking about this. Women in combat is a very recent phenomenon, as the lady just said in that commercial. And yet we just totally gave up that fight. Why? Because we don't want to be seen as disrespecting women who serve in the military. I have the utmost respect for women who serve in the military. I'm deeply grateful for their inclination to serve and sacrifice. But the military is not about individual desires. It's not even about individual ability. It's about cohesion and unity and national policy and who we want to be as a nation. I have no doubt that there are a significant number of women who would valiantly go out and risk their lives and bodily integrity to go fight for America. I don't want them to do that. I think it's bad for America to send women into harm's way. I think part of the reason that we have an army is so that we don't have to do that. I think it's disordered. I think that.
Hold on. Can we just like, this is just so ridiculous. Can you put up on the screen, will you go to Wikipedia and look up Michael Knowles? Because I want to talk about his military service, since he seems to be so aware of what's going on. We should say that the first woman who ever received a medal for combat was in 2005. It was then Sergeant Lee Ann Hester, first woman in U.S. military history to earn the Silver Star for direct combat action on June 16th of that year. I think there was probably a limited combat action for women, through the aughts before it was widely, maybe that was in specific services.
I want to thank Michael Knowles for protecting us
but here's,
soft women.
Let's put up his Wikipedia, will you?
Yeah,
so that we can look about his on his military service. I guess he started out in his late teens at the Stella Adler Studio of Acting. As part of its advanced teen conservatory. And then, of course, he went on to serve in the history and Italian departments at Yale University, where he
was he stationed in Italy? Oh, no.
I imagine it was
New Haven.
Sorry, I misread.
He went on to fight the battle of the first English rendering of Andrea in 2012, which is a play by Machiavelli. And then at Yale, he re-experienced a reconversion to the church, spurred at first by ontological arguments he had there. Oh, and also to be fair, before graduating Yale, he participated in 2 web series, Never Do Business with Friends and Survive. Then, of course, following his university time, that's when he went on to train with Wynn Handeman at the acting studio in New York City and did some more web series. And there you go. And then he moved to LA.
And it was reported in March 2023 by the Daily Dot that Knowles appeared in the student film House of Shades as a queer man that seduces another man at a nightclub.
Oh no, I've seen that. I've seen clips of that
footage. Yeah.
But I guess my point is that he's age 33. He could have made it over to Iraq and maybe even Afghanistan had he joined up at 18. How does this guy have any insight into the military readiness that has been degraded, according to him, by the inclusion of women?
Back to, it's just like the same argument you heard about don't say gay. It's like, oh, cohesion, distractions. It's like, maybe, you shouldn't have such a opinion of our troops that you find them to be so feeble-minded and weak that just the mere presence of somebody who's gay or somebody who is a woman might throw them off. I mean, I thought that you were supposed to appreciate and love our troops, not think of them as little weaklings. Is it that absurd, fragile that like our military is funded? We spend more than the next 10 countries combined in total on our military. Pretty sure that does a little bit more for the fighting forces than, I don't know, just the genitalia that people possess. And I just love it's so paternalistic too. Like, we gotta protect the women. Why don't you ask the women, bro? But he thinks that he'd rather them not have the ability to do what they want to do with their lives. He'd rather them be baby making machines. That's the reality.
If it were up to me, I would not allow anybody to be in the military. But does he think this is a problem with, let's say, Israel, right, or China, yeah, or North Korea, yeah, or Taiwan, that actually not only allow women to serve in the military, but I think draft them into it?
You know what, too? We are in the midst of what conservatives are hand-wringing over, a military recruitment crisis. People don't want to go into the military, and they are short-staffed, essentially, because partly, even though we have that massive military budget, that gets funneled to defense contractors as opposed to actually salaries and working conditions for the members of our military. That might have a little bit more to do with it. But if Michael Knowles really wants to protect America, they should probably take anybody that they can get at this point, because they're having difficulty getting people to sign up. 1, because of those conditions, and 2, because for the most part, my generation, our generation, young people, they saw what we did in Iraq and Afghanistan, and we thought that we're going to put our lives on the line for that crap. for an illegal war that no one asked for? No, thank you.
I just wonder, like, what military does he think that we're going to fight that we got to be concerned about this? Because as I look at it now, like, you got Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Lithuania, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Romania, and Sweden that allow women in frontline combat positions. Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Eritrea, Israel, North Korea, Pakistan, Serbia, South Africa, South Korea, the United Kingdom, and the United States allow women in positions like fighter pilot. I mean, who does he think that we're going to be fighting? And that's in 2013. It's probably more now. China. It's amazing the lengths this guy will go to sort of, I don't know, make this argument that we're not manly enough in this country. One wonders. Folks, we've run out of time. I got to go pick up the kids. I'm already late.